Macron accused of authoritarianism after threat to cut off social media.
Here's a summary of the article.
Emmanuel Macron is facing a backlash after threatening to cut off social media networks as a means of stopping the spread of violence during periods of unrest. The president's comments came as ministers blamed young people using social media such as Snapchat and TikTok for organizing and encouraging rioting and violence after the shooting dead of a teenager during a police traffic stop in a Paris suburb last week. We need to think about how young people use social networks, in the family, at school, the interdictions there should be, and when things get out of hand we may have to regulate them or cut them off, Macron told a meeting of more than 250 mayors, whose municipalities were hit by the violence, on Tuesday. It's a diversion tactic. Instead of debating the issue of police violence, we are diverting to the responsibility of the social media networks and parents, Wasik told BFM television. The president thinks we should be reflecting about the use of the social media networks and what basis there could be for eventual bans or administrative measures. Véran said the government had made a firm request to social media platforms to take down materials encouraging violence as quickly as possible and remove the anonymity of those possibly breaking the law. As France reflects on how to avoid further social turbulence amid accusations of systemic racism in the police and in the wider society, one of the country's most senior right-wing politicians was accused of crass racism by claiming those taking part in the riots had undergone a regression to their ethnic roots.
This post received a score of 7,600, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Macron counters. Yeah, you wouldn't think so if you didn't play so many video games.
If he believes blocking access to the internet and social media will keep kids off the streets, I triple dog dare him.
If I can't doom scroll on Twitter, what else is there to do other than burning down police stations? Maybe we could occupy some of those vacant apartments his super rich friends owns? I bet that's also an option.
He'd probably order the cops to burn down those vacant apartments, rather than let people who need housing to live in them.
Next week, they'll announce laws to protect population. This time the excuse is fireworks usage. I guess this means, search your house without a warrant.
It's been few weeks we got news like that MEMEBER of Parliament is crazy and would like to change the law to allow Macron to come a third time. Let's discuss this anti-constitutional idea as if it was legitimate and do it again next week. Then you got news like, can we change the RULRS if it is what people obviously want? No sources of datas. Ignoring massive constant protests since at least 6 months, many people think they will do it. Some say no. Still, they are testing us to see how could they play it and make it happen before 2027.
Right. I think it was Michel Barnier. Next step to dictatorship.
Don't forget Roselyne Bachelot.
I remember when in Macron's first campaign he kept comparing himself to Napoleon. Well, Macron, now you are Napoleon. Napoleon III, to be precise.
I don't get the comparison.
Napoleon III is widely lampooned for having a, forgive the wordplay, Napoleon complex. He believed that because of his name, he was destined to rule France and lead to it greatness, and early in his life he just kept failing coups like it was his job. He forgot the part where every Napoleon that tried to rule a French empire ended up dying in exile.
I appreciate a Napoleon III reference.
The fact they have ultimate control of and mass surveillance of social media, communications proved years ago shows there is no privacy and we are already living in an authoritarian society.
And he was the best alternative to Le Pen that France's political system had to offer.
No, the other alternative lost in the first round because the left had too many candidates.
Macron is a neoliberal. The left has trouble circling around a single person to run.
I don't know what it is with left-wing parties and this primal urge to split into a billion pieces. There's so much that left-wing parties agree on that needs fixing that they can circle around. Meanwhile, it's easy for neoliberals and far-right wingers to unite their respective ideologies into a party for long enough to commit to an election. I mean, come on. Many of the differences that left-wing parties have in my country are policy points that would take multiple terms even if they miraculously got their hands on a supermajority.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes. And any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.